Welcome back, biologists. Today, we're going to start Chapter 21 and our study of ecology. We'll focus on one area of ecology called population ecology. The chapter case study focuses on wolves and moose on Royale National Park. Royale National Park is in northern Michigan on the United States-Canada border. Ecologists have been studying wolf and moose populations there for many, many years. This is a map of Royale National Park. It's surrounded by Lake Superior and sits just next to the US-Canada border. Here's another map of Royale National Park to give you a better idea of where these wolves and moose live. Wolf and moose populations on Royale have fluctuated over time as the result of interactions between each animal, within each animal population, and between the animals and their environment. This picture shows two wolves hunting a moose calf. You can see different interactions between organisms of the same species, organisms of different species, and organisms in their non-living environment. This photo shows a wolf and the remains of a moose on Royale. This ecological work has been coordinated by the Michigan Technological University. The purpose of the project has been to track wolves and moose over many years to understand the dynamic fluctuations between these two specific populations. In doing so, we can better understand how two species can influence each other and also be influenced by their non-living environment. Let's define ecology next. Ecology is the study of the interactions among and between organisms and their non-living environment. Ecologists can study the environment and nature on a number of different levels. Ecologists can focus on individuals, populations, communities, and ecosystems. This infographic summarizes the difference between individuals, populations, communities, and ecosystems. We'll go through each one of these one by one. Ecology at the individual level looks at how a single organism fares in its environment or surroundings. For example, you may look at one wolf that lives on Royale and how it copes with its environment. Ecology at the population level looks at a group of organisms of the same species and how it lives and interacts with each other and the environment. A population ecologist, for example, would look at a pack of wolves rather than an individual wolf that lived on Royale. Ecology at the community level looks at how different populations of different species in the same area live and interact. Someone studying community ecology might look at the wolves, but would also look at the moose, the ticks, and the trees, for example. Ecology at the ecosystem level looks at how a community interacts with its non-living, physical environment. An ecosystem ecologist might be interested in things like weather, climate, chemical pollution, or the availability of nutrients. This ecosystem ecologist might look at how these things affect life on Royale. Population ecology and ecology in general are considered multidisciplinary sciences because they bring in a lot of different fields of science, including biology, geography, meteorology, and mathematics. Geography is the study of the land and its features. Meteorology is the study of weather and climate. When we look at where wolves and moose are physically located on Royale, we notice a pattern. How organisms are distributed in geographic space is called a distribution pattern. Distribution patterns depend on resource availability and interactions within a population. Distribution patterns can also reflect behavioral or ecological adaptations to life in some given geographic area. Ecologists found that wolves clustered in packs, with one pack living on the western end of the island and the other pack living on the eastern end of the island. Moose were a little bit different. Moose are mostly solitary creatures, and as a result, they were found distributed randomly across the entire island. A random distribution is a distribution in which individuals are equally likely to be found anywhere within a geographic area. The benefit of a random distribution is that it may allow individuals to maximize their access to resources like food and shelter. It may increase their chances that they can find, access, and use these resources. As I mentioned before, moose on Isle Royale are distributed in a random fashion. In a clumped distribution, organisms will be found in high-density clumps, separated by areas of low abundance. There are two reasons why you might find organisms in a clumped distribution. First, resources might be unevenly distributed across a landscape or geography. Second, social interactions or behavior might dictate grouping. Clumped distributions are the most common distribution patterns in nature. In a uniform distribution, individuals will maximize the space between them by uniformly and evenly spacing each other out. You'll find organisms in a uniform distribution when there is territorial behavior. Nesting seabirds, like penguins, are often found uniformly distributed. This infographic summarizes the three main types of distribution patterns and gives an example for each. Trees in a random distribution, fish in a clumped distribution, and penguins in a uniform distribution. You can look at how a population grows or shrinks by looking at the population growth rate. The growth rate is the difference between the birth rate and the death rate. The growth rate, though, is also influenced by migration. Immigration is the movement of individuals into a population. Emigration is the movement of individuals out of a population. Immigration will increase population size, and emigration will decrease population size. This diagram summarizes how births and immigration increase population size, and deaths and emigration decrease population size.